Study finds chimpanzees are more likely to cooperate than compete. Newsela.com articles, Chimps Reward Cooperation, id. 20,967. Chimpanzees, our primate cousins, have a mixed reputation. Humans love their playful ways and big smiles, but they are also known for being competitive and combative. However, new research suggests that chimps may actually prefer cooperating over competing. The study shows that chimps work together at similar rates as humans. Additionally, when violence does occur among apes, it is often directed toward an individual that is not being a team player. Experiments sought to measure cooperation. Researchers created an experiment to study cooperation among 11 chimps. They defined cooperation as 2 or more chimps working together to obtain a food reward. The experiments took place in a large outdoor enclosure at the Yerkes National Primate Research Center at Emory University. At the beginning of the experiment, 2 chimps had to team up. One lifted a barrier and the other pulled in a tray baited with small pieces of fruit. After the 2 subjects had successfully cooperated to get the fruit treat, another barrier was added. This required a third chimp to pitch in if all 3 wanted to obtain the reward. There were plenty of chance for competition to arise. The apes had nearly 100 hours to get their reward in the presence of other chimps. The authors defined competition as moments of hostile physical behavior, such as bullying a fellow chimp to leave the scene of the reward, and freeloading. Freeloading is stealing the prizes of others without putting in the work to help claim them. Although the study only looked at a small number of chimps, the results were informative. In 94-hour-long test seasons, the chimps cooperated 5 times more often than they competed with one another. The animals also used a variety of methods to punish competitive behaviors. For example, they showed a preference for working with their more group-focused and tolerant fellow animals. Freeloading is against chimp honor code when hostile behavior did occur. It was often used to subdue overly competitive chimps or to prevent freeloading. Freeloading is perhaps the greater insult to the chimpanzee honor code. Attempted thefts by those who did not put in the work were not appreciated among the chimps. Researchers observed 14 instances in which a bystander chimp, typically one of the stronger ones, stepped in to punish freeloaders. It has become a popular claim in the scientific literature that human cooperation is unique, said study co-author Franz de Waal, a primatologist at Yerkes. Our study is the first to show that our closest relatives know very well how to discourage competition and freeloading. Quote, plenty of other species exhibit cooperative behaviors. For example, look at how ants cooperate to build subterranean cities. However, as lead author and Canisius College psychologist Malini Suchik explains, what her team observed in chimps is even more exciting. The cooperation of ants and other animals is usually directed just towards family members, and is basically pre-programmed. Her study shows that the chimps are actually thinking about cooperation. Cognitively, what they did in our experiment is much closer to what humans do when we cooperate than it is to what ants do when they cooperate, she said. Flaws in the research. 1/2 Michael Tomasello is a psychologist at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology. He was not involved in this particular study, but he is a pioneer in this area of research. Tomasello pointed out that the new work has some limitations. The number of chimps involved was very small. Further, Tomasello's work has shown that when given the option to work together to obtain food or work alone, chimpanzees actually prefer to go solo. This trait distinguishes them from humans. The chimps in Suchak's study were free to roam their Yerkes enclosure and had access to their usual primate chow. Quote, in the wild, however, they may have chosen to freely search for food by themselves instead of cooperating to obtain food, according to Tomasello. Still, mounting evidence supports the idea that other primates are more like humans than we previously thought. In 2014, Suchak, de Waal and other scientists published another study about chimp cooperation. They found that chimpanzees living with many other chimps would spontaneously join forces with their roommates. Monkeys may also show similarities to humans. Last month, Scientific American reported on research showing that monkeys, like humans, become more socially selective as they get older. They prefer to spend time with their friends over other monkeys. Unfortunately, great apes may share some of humans' more upsetting qualities as well. Chimpanzees in the wild will often work together in order to compete more effectively against others. John Matani, an anthropologist at the University of Michigan, studied chimps in Uganda. He found that every few weeks, the males in a particular chimp community got together to check out neighboring territories. If they were not outnumbered, the chimps will stage an attack in hopes of winning new territory. In our primate relatives we increasingly see a reflection of ourselves. As Suchik points out, the origins of our cooperative behaviors may go farther back than previously thought. In the past, chimpanzees have been characterized as overly aggressive and competitive, which resulted in people suggesting human cooperative behavior evolved relatively recently and is somehow distinct from cooperation observed in other species, she says. Our findings are a reminder that humans are animals after all, too.